Hey, this is Matt once again. We're about to another video. This is another paid request, this time for Johnny. Thank you so much for that. And for those that are interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos or topics or commentaries or reactions or reviews or whatever it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is a commentary for the classic John Carpenter's The Thing. I'm pausing at the beginning. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. A universal picture for syncing. Okay, the next credit for syncing will be starring Kurt Russell. Now, got one more. What can be said about The Thing that hasn't been said? I'm watching the Stream Factory Blu-ray, which I know. I mean, I was just enamored by the special features and the HD quality being nice. I will say, one thing I should have thought of is, it does look a bit more blue than the original version of the film. Granted, it looks pretty, and Dean Cundey says, that's what was the purpose, but I think there's a Blu-ray overseas. Maybe one day I'd like to get it. I don't know if it's Arrow Video, but I think it's very expensive now. Just to see it and like how we all saw it growing up. But I do like the blue quality does look nice, looks neat, but it is different from like if you saw on VHS or DVD. Now, of course, is based on the story Who Goes There, and in a way, it's a remake of The Thing from Another World, even though it's definitely a different feel to it. Here we're going to have the ship passing by. With it crashing down, it kind of reminds me of what they would do later in Predator. Like in Predator, you have the Earth and the ship crashing down like that. I love the way the titles, which is from The Thing from Another World, how they burn into the screen. That looks so cool. I think like you have light behind it, and you just have this thing, you light a fire. You just see on the edge is like a little bit of fire or something. That just looks cool. And from the beginning, it's just a sense of foreboding and grimness, and the score. Ennio Morricone, but also that John Carpenter feel to it. It's a great blending of the two. I love the score. This is like the perfect heartbeat for a horror film, is this score. Especially this bit here. And when this film came out in 1982, people fucking lost their mind. Sadly, in a bad way, because... Okay, before I jump ahead, I never read the short story, or maybe I flipped through it. I do like the original theme from Another World. I would like to get that on Blu-ray someday, because that's probably my favorite film from the 1950s, is The Theme from Another World, because I like the fast-paced dialogue. It has a couple actually genuinely good jump scares, like the thing beeping, they open up the door and the creature's right there, like, oh shit. Actually, it might not have been beeping, like they open the door and the creature, oh shit. And the actors do their jobs well. Like, the 1950s, The Thing is a rather good film. Like I said, I want to get the Blu-ray sometime. But, this one, I first saw on VHS tape. It was at, the store was called On Q at the time. Maybe it was just that area, that region. There were stores called On Q. I think later was shut down, but then turned to like a Sam Goody, or maybe not Sam. It was turned to something else. It just wasn't the same. But that was like my favorite store growing up. It was a store how I found Dawn of the Dead and Evil Dead and all this other stuff. Well, there's a tape of The Thing, and I had seen one picture in a book. Some monster movie book at the library at school, and had this creepy... No, that's a lie. That is a lie. That was something else. It was at Fangoria, and I have the book, 1990 horror films. But it was like a hardcover book of Fangoria, and the cover had like Michael Myers, Jason, Freddy, all this stuff. It was like telling like the history of horror, and it's this creepy picture of what would be the Thing, which is the Norse creature that popped up and out of the stomach, the chest. And I'm like, wow, that's really weird. And then there's the VHS and on TV. I'm like, man. And the VHS doesn't tell you anything. Like, okay, yeah, this great scene with the chess wizard. This is how it was back in 1982. You could drink, get drunk, or play shitty chess. And have this cheating bitch screw you over. I think Adrian Barbeau is the voice of the chess machine. I could be wrong on that, though. Don't quote me on that. I think it's Adrian Barbeau. Maybe I'm thinking of something else. I don't know. Cheating bitch. But the VHS is like, the cover is mysterious. The back is like, there's a face of Kurt Russell and there's something burning. And so when I saw on VHS tape, I did not know what to expect. And I'm like, oh shit. I get just the atmosphere, the beautiful snowy locations, the use of the widescreen that John Carpenter knew how to do with Dean Cundey. Really intrigued by the story. Paranoia. Who's who? Who's the Thing? Who's not the Thing? Oh my god, that's the Thing? Oh my god, he's a Thing? And then when the effects happen, my jaw dropped, and I remember taking a remote and rewinding the VHS tape over and over again in each of these scenes. I went, holy shit. It was magnificent. Blew my mind. And it's become a favorite ever since. You know, my favorite horror film changes from time to time, but one of the few films I mentioned is this film as favorites of all time. The cast, yes, it's tough to go deep on all of them, to be fair, but each one has their uniqueness. I could tell them apart, not just physically, but okay, Kurt Russell, he becomes our lead character. Wilford Brimley, you know, as the doctor, you know, or like more of the scientist learning that things are going up shit creek. Chief David, you know, sort of fighting against authority. Like, each one has a, like, you have the one guy with his dogs. You have this guy here who thinks he's in command, but he's not really up for it. And I'm really bad with names. Usually I could remember all the names top of my head, but you know, you get older, you lose that function. And this thing's being in, like, oh, I'm gonna be lovable. Look how lovable I am. I'm gonna want to lick your face. See, I'm innocent. Don't let these people hurt me. So the Thing's being a fucking troll, but being smart as well. Smarter than these Norwegians. Or Swedes. They're not Swedes back, they're Norwegian. Oh, but remember in the Thing prequel, you now know how it came to this, that no one gave a shit to find out. But I mean, yeah, they're going apeshit because they know what this thing's capable of. I will say this guy is a good shot coming up. Bullseye. And that like weird sort of like after death kind of shape of his body. But I mean, really shooting out in the cold and using the location effectively. Seemed like a really hard shoot with the effects and Rob Bottin. Whether, I mean, he had almost like a little bit of a mental breakdown, whether it was stress or whether it was related to drugs, I don't know. I know Stan Winston had to come in to help a little bit in the dog transformation sequence, but Rob Bottin did most of this, and he did a crazy excellent job. That for some reason the Academy Awards did not even nominate. These are effects are considered some of the best of all time, but the Academy Awards never even nominated Rob Bottin for this. We all know the Academy Awards ain't worth shit. That's just yet another example as to why. And when this film came out, it was absolutely destroyed. It was destroyed at the box office. It was destroyed by the critics. And Universal seemed like it had some hopes for it because, it would market the films coming out for Universal, and it was a bit studio. And 1982, think of it, 1982 is the year you had Star Trek 2 and Conan the Barbarian and Blade Runner, and I think Tron was out there. I mean, there's all these big movies. E.T. I think E.T. came out and made the world fall in love, while this film made the world puke. But there's so much more to it than that. Here's Windows. People always picking on him. I haven't been able to read shit in 2 weeks. He's trying. T.T. Carter on these roller skates here. Maybe we're at war with Norway. T.T. Carter, again on the roller skates, he would later be in Southern Comfort, Walter Hill film. And there's David Clennon as Palmer, who I think was in Law and Order. He'd be on some TV show afterward, like more of a, maybe it wasn't Law, I forgot what TV show it was. I mean, look at Palmer. You've been the wife since the first day. That's the thing, though. Like, each person has their unique physicality, unique presence, and there's just enough to not get confused. That was one of the 50 problems with the Thing prequel, pre-made, pre-cum. They had so many people you couldn't tell one apart, and you couldn't differentiate one or the other. A lot of these people, they get the little moments. Like I said, Richard Master, he was the guy who loves the dogs, and he's like the most outsider of the group. Like, he could handle dogs more than humans. Kurt Russell here, who had worked with John Carpenter on Escape from New York and Elvis the movie, the TV movie. Later in Big Trouble in Little China and Escape from L.A. It's too bad we couldn't get just one more between John and Kurt. Donald Moffatt, I think that's the guy in the middle, his name, Donald Moffatt. I think he played the president in, was it Clear and Present Danger? How dare you, sir? I think the Harrison Ford from Clear and Present Danger. He has a great line at the end. I would like to not spend the rest of the winters tied to this fucking couch. And now you have this creature here. I mean, even the dog is a good actor. Like the dog, I mean, just the thing just waiting, biding his time. And that's scene. I always love the hat. Such a quirky, this big sombrero hat he just happens to wear. But yeah, when this came out, critics decimated it. That's why, so many people take stock into Rotten Tomatoes, which is a culmination of critics' views. If there's a Rotten Tomatoes in 1982, this would have had a 28%, maybe a 31%. Critics thought John Carpenter should never direct again. They thought he should only direct Traffic. How could someone make something so vile? Pornographer of violence. That's what John Carpenter was called. Stevie, a little bit of Stevie Wonder. Yep, he turned it down about hair length. And he did a bit of establishment of the facility, what a showcase is, but also, like, what is here? I mean, Neighbor's Rooster must be loving this movie because he won't shut up. He's really excited watching The Thing. Well, I'm excited too because it's a classic. Sure, these establishing shots. Like, this dog is... Look how good this... I mean, it's a wolf. Well, it's a dog. I mean, I don't know if you could... From what I understand, you can't really train a wolf, but you do train a dog, but it could be a dog that looks like a wolf, or half-breed or whatever. Look at this. Stop, pause, look over here, close his mouth like he's serious about this. And my guess is this is Palmer. David Clennon. I think that's when Palmer was turned to The Thing. Based on the silhouette, I think it was Palmer. But you watch it the first time, like, well, who the hell's that? And, it begins. And again, such an interesting idea of, like, if you're The Thing, is it mimicking you so perfectly that even you yourself don't know? Because if you're a mimic, but how perfect is the idea? Is the mimicry so perfect? Is the mimicry so 100% fully fit that even you don't know you're The Thing until a certain event, and then you know? Like, how perfect is that mimic ability? Like, that's some interesting venues you could go into. Like a Thing prequel, which you didn't need a prequel in the first place. Because they like, hey, all this stuff in Norwegian, even though the whole story is told here when they go through this. Swedes, they're not Swedes, Matt, they're Norwegian. You get the whole story here. You get there's a creature outside, things are fucked up, frozen, burnt. A guy killed himself, his blood is frozen. Hey, Sweden. They're not Swedish, back to the Norwegian. Like, you get the full story here. You didn't need a prequel. It was just there. We want to remake it, but we don't want to piss people off by saying it's a remake, so we'll say it's a prequel. So The Thing still exists, but we could pretty much do the same fucking thing as well. Only really shitty CGI, characters you don't give a fuck about, no tension, a Thing creature that's not smart, that's more of a jack-in-the-box. Like, this is cunning, and, bides his time, and is sneaky and stealthy. Again, The Thing in the prequel, which is called The Thing, it's not even like the... Well, what other title could they call it, Matt? How about The Thing Ground Zero? Which would make sense if you're doing a prequel, the origin of this, called The Thing Ground Zero. There you go, I just gave you the title for free, Ground Zero. And Ground Zero to go with the temperature, reaching 0 degrees. It would go to Ground Zero, like the center, the beginning, or origin, where it all started. You come with other better titles. Don't just call it The Thing. But yeah, great production design on this. Dean Cundey worked with John Carpenter before, but he would also go on to work with Steven Spielberg. Would go on to work with Robert Zemeckis in Back to the Future. A great DP. Yeah, just this idea of a guy killing himself and he gets so cold that you're frozen. The blood freezes right in the middle of it. And you're thinking, well, why did he kill himself? Like, did he slit his wrist and then slit his throat? Because he wanted to die quick. He wanted that blood to leave him as soon as possible. So it's like, well, if I slice the, but if you slice your wrist, will you even be able to lift the razor up to slice your neck? If you slice your neck, you probably won't be able to go to your wrist. I don't know. Which that's not even the thing they went into the Thing prequel. So it's like, the whole movie was a waste of fucking time. And there was talks of like a sequel, and oh, maybe there'll be a sequel now, and Kuroso Kiti will come back, and Frostbite will hide their aging because it's damaged from frostbite, their skin. So they're the same age, but they look older because of whatever. Just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. I didn't even like the video game. The video game I thought sucked because it was a bunch of fucking fuse boxes you fix. Fix this fuse box. Fix that fuse box. The thing. Oh, check people to see if they're the thing was pointless because you could do perfect and randomly they'll turn to the thing. And you can't save anybody, so it doesn't matter. You have to keep someone alive because they'll fix a fuse box you can't. Or maybe try to keep the medic alive so you can get some healing. But it was fucking pointless. Like, if there's a way to save people, sure, but no. Even if you save someone, even if someone's with you by the end, the cutscene happens and you're by yourself and that person disappeared because they only had one cutscene, and the one cutscene is you alone. So even if you're with someone or with two or with three people, nope, you're by yourself again. No explanation. So the combat, and you only have like 4 different types of creatures. You have the boss type of creature, you have the head crabs, you have like a smaller thing and a medium like man size thing. That's pretty much it. Kerosene. See, this is all we need to know. We can fill the details in ourselves. Prequel, pre-tom, pre-make. I remember when I bitched about that in 2011. Some guy who said he was the writer for the film. Now, maybe in retrospect he made it up. I don't know why some random person would make up being the writer. But you never know. It seems like that'd be something more common nowadays. Back then, I don't know, because I'm still a nobody. But I was even less of a nobody. And so I do think it was the writer. I like to think it was the writer. Because I did 2011, YouTube was still more of an infant compared to now. Oh, you know what you're talking about, you haven't seen the movie. Like, the movie looks shit. It's not needed. And guess what? It was shit. It was shitty. So I hope it was the writer. I hope I did piss you off. Because it fucking sucked. And I knew it was going to suck. And it did suck. Everything about that film sucked. On the other hand, you had a great cast, wonderful, even this here, that's a really good makeup effect. Just amalgamation of limbs and bodies and like, what the hell is this type of motif? But yeah, when this film came out, it just got completely obliterated by E.T. because people, oh, E.T. so, you know what, I don't mind E.T. for what it is, but there's a part of me that's like, fuck E.T. Because but I mean, it's not E.T.'s fault. It's the audience's and critics' fault. Because you can like both. So it's really not E.T.'s fault, let's be fair. E.T. came out, it came out when it came out. You can enjoy both movies. It's the critics and audience's fault. I blame them more than E.T. Audiences didn't go to see it. Audiences couldn't handle it for whatever the hell reason. Critics took a dump on it. Probably some of the same critics that then praised it later on. I'm like, why the fuck didn't you praise this back in '82? And this film bombed. It bombed badly. They took the shit. And I'm being harsh because, look how good that wolf is. Like, again, even the dog's a good actor. But yeah, if they're gonna be that fucking harsh to John Carpenter, I can be harsh to them. I'll say that. Now, maybe there were some people who liked it, cool. But to the people who were talking shit to John Carpenter at this time, your pornography of violence, you should only direct traffic. I say, fuck you. You should, I don't know, direct your mouth to my balls and wash them. Ton and all. Maybe you should gargle my nuts. For the people that talk so much shit to John Carpenter because he made a fucking awesome movie like this. And I can see why John Carpenter is grumpy. Oh, he's so grumpy. I don't blame him. Yeah, he made a hit. Halloween was a hit. But he does this film, he got shit on tremendously when he put a lot of work and effort into it. Hard shoot, busted his ass, made a classic. And then it took a shit at the box office, took a shit by Chris, took a shit by audiences. Then he got fired because he was supposed to do Firestarter. The Stephen King Firestarter. They fired his ass. The studio fired his ass because this bombed. Even though he was doing pre-production work on it, they fired his ass. So he did like Starman, and then ultimately Christine. And then Big Trouble in Little China, classic. But then shit on audiences at the time. Shit on by critics at the time. Now it's like, oh, now it's a classic. It's like, well, why didn't anyone say this at the time? It's like time and time again, whether it be They Live or Big Trouble in Little China or this, The Thing, or it's always later. How about then? Because this stuff does fuck up your career. It's not like John Carpenter got rich either. I always like the idea that, of course, it's 1982. So there were tapes then. I always forget how early tapes were a thing. And yeah, old game shows. What more can they do? So yeah, some arcade machines, some pool. What more can you do around this Antarctic base? I know it's a bit dark, but you know what? It fits with the mood of the film. I know I think John Carpenter called this apocalyptic trilogy, along with, was it Prince of Darkness and In the Mouth of Madness? And this is John Carpenter is my favorite director. Because I look at his filmography, there's not a lot that I dislike. I'm not a fan of the Ward. That's my least favorite. Memoirs of Invisible Man, I'm not really big on. I don't like Dark Star. But Halloween's a classic. I love Assault on Precinct 13. That's one of my favorites. I love The Fog. This is my favorite. I really enjoy Steve from New York. Big Trouble in Little China is a favorite of mine. I like They Live. I like Prince of Darkness. I like vampires. I can even watch Ghosts of Mars. But look, like the dog sitting there, staying. And this is when you're in another realm of a movie. We've had this really nice build-up for almost half an hour, and this when the shit really hits the fan. And you're watching this, and you're like, what the fuck's going on? What the hell? And then, ooh, what the fuck? And it's crazy when the dog is like biting the fence to try to get the fuck out. You're like, what the fuck is this? And lighting helps too. If you light it too brightly, the rubber is more shown. So you have to have the right lighting, which I think they had here. And just these effects are still amazing to this day. Yes, sometimes there's good CGI, but I think there's a lot more bad than good. And this is from 1982, and it still holds up because it's in camera, and you cannot get more real than real. And then this shit being on the dog, nowadays probably you can't get away with this. They say it's too inhumane for the dog. Just that little bit there. But you're like, this weird crab-like, spider-like thing, like, what the fuck is this? And that's the thing to be anything. The thing to be all types of things. And that that creativity and just insane effects. But you mix that with the score and the photography and the cast and the paranoia and the cool idea of, it's not body snatchers, where the body snatchers you could tell who's a body snatcher because they lack emotion, or they do the you know it because of this, the blood test. And sorry for that noise. People are playing their neighbors are playing their music loud. But you know, because oh no, whatever, it is what it is. Sorry, I like that line. I don't know what it is, but it's weird and pissed off. See, I like the dialogue just feel natural. Matt wants the what? I know people get weirded like, why the hell would they have a flamethrower? I'd be like, why not? If I'm in the middle of this cold, I want a flamethrower. You know, someone had an idea like, with helicopter land, maybe they don't want to land on ice, so you have to de-ice the area that the helicopter lands on. And that'd be a way of de-icing. But I mean, I would have a flamethrower. I'd want one. I probably want one just for the shits and giggles. Melt this shit. Especially in 1982, where you don't have, you know, internet possibility. That just looked. Now Stan Winston helped work on that one, but that's still fantastic, man. God, and that wolf ain't having a good day. Yeah, shooting the shit out of it, making holes in it, blow the shit out of it. That dot, there you go. Richard Master being stupid. It's like, get him the fuck out of here. Again, just this weird thing, like now hands are coming up, and you're just wondering what the hell's going to happen next. What the hell is going to happen next? It reaches through and then going to the ceiling, and this flower thing opens up. If you watch it closely, it's a bunch of dog tons in a row. Like this thing that opens up, like you see the eyeball. It's a bunch of dog tons with teeth when this thing opens up. Like right there, that's a bunch of dog tons with teeth when it's going to. Again, that creativity. See, I'd be like, fuck that. Let it burn longer. Don't put the fire extinguisher now. Let it burn longer. That's another thing, the special features. The commentary with Kurt Russell and John Carpenter is great, but on the Blu-ray, it's a bit edited. Like, there's certain little things that are said that are cut out. You know, they talk about Laserdisc because it was meant for the Laserdisc. But it's like, there's certain things, like, little things, I don't know, just edited for no reason, it seems. So that's why I would say if you have the DVD, keep the DVD, because the commentary is not edited on the DVD. And I'm kind of mad at myself for not having, I don't think I have the DVD anymore, because I didn't think of it. I didn't know that until later. Just like, okay, get the Blu-ray, don't need the DVD anymore, sold it, and I'm like, fuck. I don't know, maybe I have the DVD over there, I don't know. I have to double check. I might have the DVD over there, again, I'd have to double check. But it's like, why even mess with it? Just leave it the fuck alone. And then they don't tell anybody. As if we don't fool people. Yeah, people do think about that shit. I don't know if the first Blu-ray it's edited. I don't know. Maybe it's fine on the first Blu-ray. You can let me know on that for those in the comments. In the first Blu-ray that Universal had, is like Not really much for features. Is the commentary the same or not on that Blu-ray? It might be. So again, anyone in the comments, feel free to let me know. Of course, I say that, then it's like these commentaries don't really get a lot of comments, but hey, it's meant for the people who send in paid requests, so that's good enough for me. Plus, they're pretty long, and people are busy with their lives. Trust me, I fully understand. I'm not Jeremy Jahns. I'm not Chris Stuckman. I'm not any of those guys. I'm just a guy trying to think of interesting stuff to say and failing. This is where the paranoia even more begins of who to trust. Like, how long were you with the dog? Why you looked at me like that? And now it's like, well, who's the thing and who's not the thing? Just a good concept. Again, it's not bystanders where you could tell because they have no emotion. No, it's like, what if it mimics you perfectly? And you're isolated, and oh, there's no women. So what? If there's a movie with all women, can I complain there's no men? Plus, I was fine with it because then you didn't have to deal with any of the fucking sexism or love story or anything in between. You didn't have to deal with any of that. May have seemed different as well. Now they're watching old footage of what they got this out of the ice. Which even the Thing prequel is supposed to be a prequel, and they didn't do it like it's done on the TV. So they even screwed that continuity up. The Thing prequel just sucks in every way, shape, and form. And John, I don't want to see another sequel. I don't want to see anything done with The Thing. You know what? Just read the comics. There's a comic by Dark Horse. There's a comic that's a sequel to this where McCready, like Kuros O'Keefe David, they're in the snow going towards something, and then there's a submarine, and Kuros was saved, and there's... I'm trying to remember where I have those comics. I know I have those comics somewhere. It's called The Thing from Another World. And then there's another one I think called Climate of Fear that takes place in the jungle, I believe. Yeah, I think I have them. I need to pull them out and look at them again. I should have done this here to show them, but oh well. But this movie just has all the attributes that you want. It has, like I said, a capable cast, beautiful scenery, great photography, excellent music, foreboding, grim atmosphere of paranoia and suspense, just wonderful special effects. I mean, some could say this is as close to a perfect horror film as you can get. And they have a good reason to say that. And yet the film didn't do anything, and it bombed, and again, for all those that want to take so much into Rotten Tomatoes, if there was a Rotten Tomatoes back in 1982, this would have like a 28%. That was junk and garbage. Shows what critics know, or even audiences. That's why you think for yourself. You always think for yourself. Yeah, it's fun to use that because it's nice to see someone who agrees with your opinion. I've done it too, and I'll do it again, and that's an easy thing to do. But in all truthfulness, at the end of the day, think for yourself and let your own opinion be the one and only. I'm just saying, like, it doesn't matter what anybody else thinks. Even if you're the only person that likes it, if you liked it, you liked it. And if you're the only person that hates a film, if you hate it, you hate it. Now, there's some matte painting works here, which I miss matte paintings. I always thought they looked really cool. very talented artists like Albert Whitlock. I do miss matte paintings, which is, it's, you take a background, you paint it, you put it in there, and make something look. But now it just be CG, and a lot of times with CG, it looks too polished. It looks too perfect. It looks more perfect than real life. I think the only thing in this reel is the men and maybe the hole, and everything in the back was like a painting, I believe. That's really blue. I'm blue, dabba dee dabba da. And this is Caruso trying to explain it. I can't believe it, this voodoo bullshit. It happens all the time. So cheers to the gods, man. There you go, cheers to the gods. But yeah, you got, of course, Kurt Russell, great actor, badass guy in real life. He would go on to do films like Backdraft and Stargate and Breakdown and various other movies. Keith David, he would be working with John Carpenter again in They Live. He'd be the voice of Spawn in the animated series. Wilford Brimley, he would be in personal favorite of mine, Hard Target. He'd be in Cocoon in the sequel, and a bunch of commercials on the diabetes commercials. And yeah, I know. And the neighbors have their music loud for some reason. I don't know why. I just, whatever. The time it takes to leave, come back, it'd be whatever. This is a shitty version of Asteroids. But this is what computers were back then. I mean, they couldn't do as much with computers. I mean, this is 1982 computers. So, if you want to see how computers were in 1982, this was it. Again, it looks like a really shitty version of Asteroids. But it is funny, like, just how far computers have gone in the span of, a few decades. Like, again, this is the best a computer could do back then, and now you do almost anything on a computer. You can do deep fakes, you can create movies, I mean, you can do animation, anything in between. You have enough time or money on a computer, you can do pretty much anything. And this is Wilford Brimley realizing that one of their own or more than one of their own could be infected, and that 27,000 hours the whole world could be infected. 27,000 hours. And this leads to Wilford Brimley thinking, what he needs to do, the right thing, keep them isolated, don't let anyone leave. Which gets into a fun scene later on. I'll kill you. Here's Kurt Russell going to give it. Not sure if it's here or is it later on when he does. Maybe it's later on. Yeah, he gives to the tape recorder. He's looking at that thing because he's like, wow, I guess this thing maybe tears through your clothes when it gets you. So to speak. Here's Fuchs pretty much going to tell him that the cells are not dead yet. They were frozen, but they're not dead yet. And that's how, this thing is still alive, and just this guy here wearing, almost like Marty McFly's jacket from Back to the Future. Fuck the Nobel Peace Prize. Fuck that shit. Give me a couple $1 billion and maybe I'll think about it. Not gonna mean anything if you're dead. See, you see him move a little bit under the blanket and then stop. And of course, another personal favorite of mine was inspired by this film, Leviathan. Pretty much if you take Alien and John Carpenter's Thing, you combine it, put it underwater, you get this. Now, I love this film. I kind of stick up for this film more because it's more underrated. At least this film's getting the credit it deserves. This film, though, never does, so I stick up for this film more. But, I love... This technically does have the better effects and direction and stuff, to be fair. And I will admit, Scream Factory did put a lot of features into this. I will admit, they did a really good job with that. Because, like, the setup, commentary with Dean Cundy, commentary with co-producer Stuart Cohen, the old commentary with John Carter Russell, as I says, edited. And even this first one, trailers, TV spots, radio spots, still gallery. There's a second disc that has the bonus stuff. You have the documentary from back in the day, which was a good one. Then you have interviews with people like Wilford Brimley and other stuff. Damn, my body got so excited. Or it knew some gross stuff was coming. Ooh, right there with the... Is that a dick in his mouth? No. It's a dick hanging out of his mouth. Just that wiggling... Yeah. It's Bennings. Yeah, Bennings ain't around anymore. Bennings is fucked up. They caught this guy, but there's still some more among the group here. Yeah, that crazy hand, and good sound effect too. I think that creepy sound effect and the music just really creepy. You got the great cinematography with the snow blowing and they don't burn. Now see, in some movies that can of gasoline, that barrel would explode. Thankfully not in this one. Do you know how many movies do you have that light on fire, goes to the barrel? Not in this movie. See, this leader here, he doesn't quite get what's going on, and so Kurt Russell has to step up and do what needs to be done. He's like, hey, it needs to be done. That's just the way it is. So, we're going to pour all this shit here and burn it. That's what he did, one of the great, speeches Kurt Russell gives out. It is a shame. The reason I keep saying it's such a shame is because, like, John Carpenter and that didn't deserve that. I mean, and that's why like you put all this hard work, you put all this heart and passion into it, and the Rob team, like all these guys put such hard work in this film, and then it's nice that people love it now, but when your career needs it the most, your first when it's released, and you just not only it doesn't do nothing, but it just hurts it. It's like, well, Kurt Russell's not a box office star. We're not there yet with the speech. Is this Blair going crazy? Say, yeah, we're not there yet. It just things getting just worse and worse and worse for these guys. Burn them and then bury them. Keep them frozen. I mean, it's a smart idea. You burn them, and then if they're not dead, then they're kept frozen, hopefully forever, and never to, be dug up again. And then either you burn them to nothing, or you freeze them and keep them trapped. Unless you put them on a shuttle and send them into space and maybe blow that up. I don't know. Yeah, I mean, like I said, this Blu-ray, you definitely see a bit more of the blue compared to the other previous releases. Like that blue, I don't remember seeing this blue, all this blue, when I watched this on DVD or the original Blu-ray. I mean, it looks cool, but at the same time, it's like, it's not really what people grew up with, so, yeah. That's going to be up to your own personal opinion on it. I think the Arrow video or something has maybe some features that are not on the Stream Factory one. And because I'm such a big fan, I would like to pick that up. And I don't think it has the blue look to it as well. Yeah, someone fucked up the chopper. Just someone doesn't want him to leave. I'm guessing that was Wilford Brimley. But then it's like, okay, parts are being stolen to make their own fucking spaceship. Yeah, here we get the Blair scene. Wilford Brimley going crazy. I did great pan shots, like going down this hallway. Now, later on, you see Keith David come up, and he hides his hand behind Kurt Russell. And that's because he fucked up his hand, I think, some kind of accident. You see, like, one of his hands he'll be hiding. I think his left hand. Like, when Chief David goes up behind Kurt Russell, he, like, hides. I think this is his left hand. Some kind of, like, accident he had. It broke in or something. It was like a cast or something in it, so he had to hide it. Yeah, see, he's like... So, yeah, see, he, like, put his left hand, like, behind... and put like a fake hand to hide the cast or something. See, that's why his left hand's like right behind Kurt, trying to hide from the camera. And he's like hiding here, Keith David. Wilford Brimley going crazy. And the commentary is hilarious. Kurt Russell's like, get him, Will! Get him, Will! He's a long way for those... oatmeal commercials. Their commentary is hilarious. That's why I wish they did a commentary for Steve from L.A. Before I understand, John Carpenter said he would not do it without Kurt Russell, and then Kurt Russell, I think that was the time he was doing those like Santa movies. I'll kill you. Don't you understand? They want to be us. Damn. Wolford's going for it. Sorry, Will. Pew, pew, pew. Oh. And Wendell's just saying, having a good day. He's almost knocked the fuck out. I didn't just like when it rains, it pours. It's like one of their own is dead. Wilford Brimley, I think he killed all the dogs. Yeah, he killed all the dogs, just in case. In case they were infected and ran out. Or I guess if they were infected, the axe would not have done anything, but I just in case they ever did get infected. See, I don't think Wilford Brimley is infected here. I think, though, because he's left alone, then he's infected. In between. Like, here and the next time we see him, when he's like, let me out. I don't know who to trust. I know what you mean, Blair. Trust's a hard thing to come by these days. Which is true. You can say that for today. How about you trust in the Lord? What? Watch Clark. And watch him close. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Which I know Caruso laughed about that in a certain way he delivered that. Which I get. It's like, do you hear me? Like he was drunk. But yeah, you see Wilford Brimley's demeanor is one way, but then the next time you see him, he has like a hangman's noose. So it's like maybe he thought he was going to hang himself and before he got infected, and then maybe I think by the time he wants out, he was infected. So right here, it's like, well, how do we know who's human? Like even the scenes like here, like you have to make this scene like it's snowing, and I know some parts they shot on a set, but a lot of it, was shot on location, and that's not the easiest thing to shoot when it's cold as fuck. I mean, even when they were getting to the set, there was a one point where they were on a bus, and the bus almost went off the fucking road because of the ice. So the whole cast almost died on the way there to the fucking set. Someone got the blood. We got goddamn Dracula in here? No. Someone got to the blood and someone knew that test would be horseshit. Or they knew it wouldn't be horseshit and they don't want anyone to do it. And this is where again you turn on each other because who the hell can you trust? Who had access to it? Who had the key to it? Who could have done it? Who knew what we were going to do? Who had an idea what we were going to do? Anyone could have gotten the key. Anyone could have gotten this and that. Sorry, now I'm just getting invested into the movie yet again. And Windows ain't having this. I think my friend Affrey said that if he was a character, he'd be Windows. Because he got always picked on and people always giving shit, and that he's the one just not having this. So what do you thought of the test? They're supposed to clear him? Again, just the tension rising throughout the film with this breakdown of can't even say a breakdown of communication, because the communicating is just breakdown of trust. That's what just amazes me, the credits that want to talk about all these other things about films and what they do and the deeper implications, that none of them understood this film back in the day. Or the majority of them didn't understand this film. Just dumbfounds me. It fucking dumbfounds me. But, you know, I like Roger Ebert, but, you know, you want a light speed 2 cruise control, but not a film like Die Hard or a film like this. But hey, a cop and a half. Thumb up. Cop and a half. I mean, again, people have different strokes for different folks. There's tons of times I say something, people, I don't get it. It's like, well, I did a review, there you go. Just how it is. And then Donald Moffatt realizing that he's not the guy to be in charge. And then Charlie Hallahan's like, but I'm not up to it. Now, we all know Charlie Hallahan there is the thing, if you've seen the film. Did he say that because in his perfect mimicry, part of him knew, you can't give it to me because there's something wrong with me? Like, again, how perfect does a mimicry work? That creates a lot of interesting conversation or dilemmas about it. Like, that could be a scene where, you know, someone takes a test, doesn't know they're the thing, and then that change where they now know. That could be a thing. This is where he gives the speech. I know I'm human. And if you were all these things, you just attack me right now. So some of you are still human. This thing doesn't want to show itself. It wants to hide inside an imitation. It'll fight if it has to. But it's vulnerable out in the open. If it tastes, it's over. It has no more enemies. Nothing, nobody left to kill it. And then it's won. Storm hitting us in 6 hours. We're gonna fight out who's who. I mean, he's right. Like, some of them are the thing, some of them are not. If they were all the thing, they would just attack them, and there you go. And again, you don't know. And looking back, it's ironic because those three, none of them are the thing. No, that's not true. No, yeah, it's true. None of them were the thing. The two who were the thing are the two, like, there's there with the needle. Norris, Charlie Hallahan. Then Palmer, David Glennon. And then Wilford Brimley. So one of them might have gotten to him by now, for all we know. And it's interesting the way this is framed, where you have Kurt Russell talking, but then you have the door wide open. And I think it's like any minute now you're thinking there's going to be a shadow or someone just standing right there or just listening right behind Kurt Russell's character. I'm actually surprised that they didn't have like a shadow appear behind them, like on the ground. Like now it's going more towards Kurt Russell, but like you have the door wide open, like someone could be like some shadow, something like right behind them, listening to all this. Back in the day of tape recorders. I wonder if there's anybody today that uses the old stuff. Like, I wonder if there's anyone out there that does still use like an old tape recorder for whatever reason they feel. Like this shot here, it's like this. I think it's done on purpose to make the audience think that any minute now you don't see someone behind them. Even that shot behind, like, almost gives you, like, is someone watching him? Was someone watching him? And then you do this shot here. Is Kurt Russell the thing? Is he not the thing? Did he get turned? Was someone behind him? And then turn him to the thing? Because there's a shot of, like, looking at Kurt Russell's back. But is that the creature? Or is it just a camera technique? See, with here, like, Kurt Russell comes in, is like, is he the creature? Is he not the creature? Is he waiting for his moment? Because soon after, that's when the shit happens. You're like, wait, did Kurt Russell do that? Because about Kurt Russell leaves, and then the power goes out, and then he comes out, and then that's where you see McCready. Again, it's little steps to lead the audience to believe that maybe McCready, Kurt, could have been turned. Yeah, that stuff, I mean, John Carpenter is a smart guy. That stuff's done on purpose. Like, we had just seen Kurt Russell was there. So it could have been him. Sorry, that's the desk. And it tells about how it tears through your clothes when it takes you over, and the clothes you find here is McCready. So did it, tear through him? It's just like, oh shit. That's the reveal. So now you're like, oh my god, now Kurt Russell's... Because Kurt Russell, I mean, he was in the state of New York, but it's not like he was the Kurt Russell we think of today. It's like, oh, there's the Disney kid. I go with Windows. I'll go with Childs. I ain't going with you. They're cut the bullshit. There's just that exasperation between the characters of just this ongoing tension of getting less and less trust between each other. But yeah, I mean, I know there's been talks of an actual sequel for many years. There was one, I think, possibly for Sci-Fi Channel that was going to happen, and all this other stuff. But just leave it alone. Just leave it alone. And that's hard to add with a flare in front of your face, where you don't want to mess up the camera, you don't want to burn your hand, you don't want to burn your face. See, look, there's a hangman's noose. Like, was he going to hang himself at one point, really? But now he's been turned. So I think at this point he's the thing. And Fuchs. Not gonna harm me, buddy. I just want to come back inside. So yeah, I do think he's been turned by this point. This is the thing, like, anybody could have unlocked that door at any time and turned them. So that'd be like easy pickings for the thing. That body must have burned really quick. Is it Fuchs and they find glasses? I mean, that is really being burnt up. Maybe he tried to burn it. Or maybe he burned himself before it could get to him. And that leads to another question. Could you burn yourself fast enough before being overtaken by the thing? Are you overtaken by the thing, then you're like, I'm going to burn myself? Or did he burn himself before out of fear? I don't want to take the chance, I'm going to burn myself. Or was he being affected and then he burned himself? And, you know, it's a creepy idea. See, now, as an audience, maybe you're thinking, okay, is this where he's going to turn this character now into the thing? There ain't taking any chances. Close that shit off. Close ever loving hell out of these doors. And yeah, John Carpenter, I mean, nowadays he's pretty much retired, and I can't really blame him. Again, the last film he did was The Ward, which I wasn't really a fan of. I think he just, yeah, he takes these paydays to be a producer, but it's like put his name on it. And I think he just prefers composing, doing music. Which, hey, I mean, he's older, he deserves to be retired, he's done enough. At one point, he wanted to do a movie based on the Dead Space video game because he is a video game player. And I would love someone to interview John Carpenter about video games. Like, just about video games. Like, someone needs to do that. Someone needs to sit down and it's like, John, I want to talk to you about video games. What was the first games you played? Has that ever... You know what? I'm going to look this up. Has anyone ever done that? Interview him just about video games. Just like, yeah, I know one time he wanted to do a Dead Space movie. Could have been any time, anywhere, if it did get to him. Of course, the guy always blaming Windows. And that sort of old horror film, the door handle wiggling. I think he even says, what if we're wrong about him? Well, then we're wrong. I think that's coming up in a bit. What if we're wrong about him? Well, then we're wrong. Well, I mean, there you go. Well, then they're wrong. Shit happens, I guess. Like he says. Well, then we're wrong. You're dead, McCree, wherever the hell you are. Let's see. Actually, you know what? I'll look that up maybe later, because there's McCree looking like a ghost. Let's see. A tradition in British Antarctic research stations is to watch the thing as part of their midwinter feast and celebration held every June 21st. Interior sets on the LA sound stages were refrigerated down to 40 degrees Fahrenheit, while it was well over 100 degrees Fahrenheit outside. The film's budget was $15 million. He takes all his failed movies pretty hard, but the film's initial negative reception disappointed him the most. Vincent Canby called it too phony, looking to be disgusting. It qualifies only as instant junk. Dave Terr wrote that it was hard to tell who's being attacked and hard to care. Superficial characterizations and implausible behavior dismissed the film. Nothing is more than an alien knockoff. That was Roger Ebert. The director of the original theme from Another World, Christian Nyby, denounced Carpenter's version, saying, if you want blood, go to the slaughterhouse. It's a terrific commercial for J&B Scotch. Studio canceled the multi-picture deal they had with Carpenter. His career would have been different if it was successful. Unused music composed for the film was later used in Quentin Tarantino's The Hateful Eight. Okay, I got this scene's popping up. This is the scene that really. There's a lot of scenes that clinch it for me, but this was just a fucking insane sequence. In a good way. I fucking love this scene coming up. I love it. I remember this scene of all this. A lot of the scenes blew me away, but this scene especially, I'm like, what the fuck? Like the teeth and ripping the arms out. I'm like, oh shit, what the fuck? What the hell's going on? And like Kurt Russell and John Carver on the commentary, like Kurt Russell's laughing his ass off, just how insane this is. This is fantastic. That's what I saw in the Fangoria book. That's what I saw in that Fangoria book. And then this stuff here, like the actual head is splitting away, and then it's like this green stuff with these, like, what the hell you call, like, little vegetable goop, and it's going down. It's like, what the hell? This is my reaction, like, Jesus Christ. Just the insane, excellent creativity. Excellent creativity. Alien knockoff. Roger Ebert didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. Which is funny, sometimes he did. Like, crazy enough, which is cool, he gave Leviathan a thumbs up. Which is crazy, but I'm glad, but... So I have to check this out. And look, the spider legs coming out of the head, and these little arms coming out. Jesus Christ. That is fucking crazy, man. Okay, this is an hour-long interview, but I don't know where the hell... Okay, it says here, August 2021, here's an hour-long... Piss off, I don't need to sign in, god damn it. Shut up. Oh, shut up. God damn it. You get more of the suspense here of just... I mean it. And right in the clincher, man. Right in the fucking clincher. Well, not in the clincher, but just like, boom. I think London Games Festival is what it's called. Like an hour-long... Anyway. I'll look into that later. And you know what? Honestly, if I interviewed John Carpenter, that's what I would talk about. I talk about what would you have done with Dead Space if you were able to do a movie. Is there someone you know that you would cast? Would you have Isaac Clarke talk because he talked in the second game? I would ask him about that, or Shadow Company if he remembered. Because he's asked about these movies all the time, and there's not much more he could say about The Thing or Big Trouble in Little China. So I would ask him about video games. I'll try and survive. Crawl away from a hot needle the same. Yeah, he ain't having that shit. Ooh. Which I know, I mean, it's weird to wince at this, but it's literally just painting a fake knife and doing this, and there's a line. Or when you're squeezing it, it's just you have a tube hit, and you squeeze the tube to look like it's your, like this bit here. When you use a different knife and not the same knife, because it could be contaminated. Like again, that's just squeezing a tube, but just the idea of the squeezing the blood out. Like, ew. I think because people can almost feel that. Like in a weird way, like they can't feel like a stab in a gunshot, like in a weird way, but they can almost feel like a fingernail. I think because that's something we have interacted more, where we've stubbed our finger, or we've cut our finger, or we've fucked up a fingernail. It's like you just almost like an instinctual back of your head. You remember that moment or that close call, and like, ooh, shit, that kind of reaction. There you go. And then it seems like it's not going to work at all at first, and then it does work. And then some. It's like, okay then, let's do it. Fire it up. Fire it up. Now I'll show you what I already know. There you go. Crock of shit. And that's where you also get the realization of, copper was never the thing. So tying him up, but also more so, Clark. He killed someone. Granted, self-defense because the guy tried to cut him, but he was never the thing. The number one red herring. No, he's not a murderer. He was self-defense. The guy tried to cut him. But, I get your point. So now we have the fake hand on Caruso. Because that, you could tell that is a fake hand when you know it. So that they could do that. Which is a cool shot. That's a pretty damn cool shot. I mean, think about it. This is another one. I'm like, oh shit. It just keeps getting worse and worse for these guys. It's like hell. Like, this is like hell. You're trapped in this room. This guy's literally pulsing and breaking apart in front of you. Insane, gory makeup effects. What the hell the MPA is, I'm glad but surprised it's got an R rating. I'm glad though. Maybe because it's like sci-fi, alien, they were able to... Fantasy, you're able to do a bit more. But like lifts this guy up. And granted to watch it does look like a dummy. Like that is a dummy. But I mean just the idea of just throwing this guy around, you're like, Jesus Christ. What's more going to happen next in this fucking movie? There you go. And that's a great body burn. big props to the stunt guy taking this. Like, you have to have this makeup on. Then you have to be burned. You gotta walk all the way over here. You crash through a fucking wall. Keep going. I don't know how many times they did this. Now look at Caruso. His body flies at this explosion. Look at Caruso. His theater. Boom! Just pushed way back into the fucking thing. And then there's this up close shot. But again, when that explosion hits, look at Caruso, the character's body. He's like, it's like shit. Just fucking push back. Poor Windows. Man. It doesn't hold back. This movie does not hold back. But you got great lead in Caruso, R.J. McCready, and you got a great cast. There you go. Let's do it. The reaction, cut me loose, damn it. So it's not the black guy didn't do it, and the black guy's not the first to die. In fact, they're two of the last three to be alive until they're not alive anymore. And T.T. Carr on the left, you never know like how he died. Now I know there's drawings, I think maybe from an earlier script where, because I know there's earlier drafts of the script. I think there's one where someone's pulled into the ice, or they're tapped while doing a snowball. Tied to this fucking couch. That's a pretty damn funny line. I like these fade-ins too. I think they work well and the mood and showing some time has passed. But in one for the Knowles, the T.T. Carr character, I think like he was hiding in a room and see an arm like break out, grab the guy, and then pull him through a wall or something. But none of that was filmed. And I guess they felt, well, that's like one of the few that you're not going to see. I mean, you assume he's dead because he never showed back up again. But I mean, hey, that could be something like, you don't know you technically don't know he's dead. He could have just said, fuck it, ran away, and I guess you just assume he died. Maybe he got grabbed, he ran away or something, and too scared to stream. I don't know. Yeah, you assume he's dead, of course, but again, technically you didn't see him die. So there's always a bullshit you could pull out to. There's always shit you could pull out of your ass to say, well, you technically didn't see him die. You could say, sorry, McCready, you're on your own. Went through a little crawl space, got the fuck out of there. For all we know, after the last scene, 2 minutes later, T.T. Carr could come up, yeah, sorry, man, I lost my head, I ran away. But I came back when I saw the explosion. Lost my head. You never know. Because there's no dead bodies. It's not like part of the Wilford Brimley thing. Here's his little spaceship. Which, what was he trying to do? Was he trying to... I mean, it's a ship, yeah, but... Anywhere but here. I was saying, like, was he going to try to go back in outer space, or I guess try to go into a city? See, again, this is a great use of music and camera work where, oh shit, the door's open. Where's Chief David? Was he taken? Was he killed? Was he turned? Did he genuinely go out because he thought he saw somebody? Which I think he sees him here. But again, you don't know. Did he go off? And you don't know. You don't know if he turned or not. That's still the question. I mean, I don't think you can make the argument that McCready is the thing. I just don't see that argument happening. But I do. Keith David could be the thing. He could not be the thing. That's up to you. I like to think they're both human, but even then, they're gonna freeze. Unless you again read the comic and they're able to make it out. This is sort of the grim realization of they're on their last mission, possibly a suicide mission, and trying to figure out what to do next. And trying to think. Yeah, there were comic books. Oh yeah, there was. I think it said that there was an ending shot where some kind of thing where Caruso got a test and it came back negative and he was in some hospital or something. Something like that. I swear they said it was shot. I don't know if it was actually shot. I would say if somehow that footage was found, I would love to see it. It may not be nothing, but it'd be curious to see, but guess that footage is long gone, if it ever was shot. But yeah, I don't know for certain. I thought they said it was shot. But, because I think Caruso talks a bit about it on the commentary, and John Carpenter's like, no, 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 I mean, this is the ending the film needed. Now it's just time to blow the shit out of everything. It's like, oh, are you sure you're done with the set? Okay. You better be sure, because we're not building this shit again. So you better be damn skippy that everything's done. And this is how you do it well, Alec Baldwin, instead of accidentally fucking shooting people. You fucking idiot. You check, and you double check before you do the shit. Generator room. Yep. The only way to go. Come on down. The price is right. But yeah, I mean, as we're getting to the finale, it is cool that the film has gained its reputation as the years have come on down the road, time and time again. You have directors like, I remember I forget what program it was. They were talking about these horror, and George Romero is talking about how he loved the thing, and he's like, I talked to John, I said, oh, don't let the bastards get you down. This is a good movie. I forget which program that was, but I remember George Romero saying that. And say like Guillermo del Toro and Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez, like a lot of people who are fans of the film. Eli Roth, not that that matters, but yeah, the generator's gone. is gone, McCready. Just I hope that maybe we can keep the generator going, so maybe we can maybe survive, but this is where they plant the explosives, and you know, down Moffatt ain't gonna make it. I mean, for me, it would have been. I'm split on not seeing Knowles die. I may be too greedy to see another makeup effect, but the way it's done, it makes sense for the realization of Caruso realizing he is alone. Where we don't know he's dead yet, he doesn't know he's dead yet, but then we kind of know when he knows, so we're more into Caruso's point of view, his thinking, like, oh shit, he's not answering. It looks very spooky down that hallway. But here's, last appearance of Wilford Brimley. Like in, I've never seen it done like that before. Like in the cheats like that. Like you're actually in the cheats and you're. Ugh. And it's this shot where he's like pulling his fucking face. Ugh, like right there, like oh fuck. That still gets me. There's Knowles, like, I just knowing something's off. But come on, man, don't go down a fucking hallway by yourself when you know what's going on. Like, what are you doing? But didn't you never see what happened to him? And it's just this realization of right here, boom. Caruso looks up right now, and no one's answering. He knows he's alone, and it looks spooky down there with the low lighting and like a slice of flickering. Like that's when he realizes, oh shit. I'm all alone. I think it's just that more that curiosity of, I wonder how Knowles got it, so to speak. You get this track. There we go. Now, kind of probably how they did Tremors, like some of the stuff they did in Tremors to break the ground up, see like something's coming after them. And here you get like the only scene with stop motion. I think the whole bit was going to be stop motion, but they realized that I love stop motion. It moves just a bit differently compared to real, and so here's his real thing here. I think you would see more of stop motion wide shots, but they're like, nah, just keep with the. To try to go back and forth between the two might be a bit too jerky. So you get this grandiose effect. Yeah, fuck you too. There you go. Blow the shit out of it. And yeah, that's like, yeah, just stay as far the fuck away as possible while this whole camp blows up. Did some shots in there, but up close, but back then where you just actually blow the shit out of something, not do it was just CGI. But everything's like be CGI ice, CGI fucking this, CGI that. Everything's gotta be goddamn CGI. It's like, come on now, man. this stuff lasts more because it's in camera. And like I said, you cannot get more real than real. You can't get more real than real. I don't know why it's such a hard concept to fathom for a lot of people. I don't know why. And again, just that question. People are like, oh, well, Keith Davis the Thing because of this and that. I'm like, you don't see his breath. I'm like, well, yeah, you do. And even if you don't, in certain parts, what do you think? The actor in real life didn't have any breath? This is 1982. It's not like they digitally take out breath. So unless you think the actor himself is an actual the Thing. Yeah, Turo's definitely puffing out a lot of damn smoke. I don't think we're in much shape to do anything about it. Wait here for a little while. See what happens next. And this is an ending I could deal with because it is a fun question mark. Who's the Thing? Who's not the Thing? You can make whatever you want up in your mind. Let the audience think what they want. I thought it worked well. This grim horror film, but I think for the most part John Carpenter does that fairly well in his movies. Yeah, I thought the ending of this worked for the kind of film it needed to be, and it was handled justified. John Carpenter's The Thing. Still a classic, still holds up. Kurt Russell, one of my favorite roles of his, this and Jack Burton, State Pliskett, of course. Wilford Brimley, rest in peace. Because I don't think he passed away sadly. T.K. Carter, again, he would be in Southern Comfort. David Clay, I forget what TV show he was on after this, but he was great as Palmer. Keith David, he had big roles that even in Volcano with Tom Lee Jones. Like I said, They Live. Richard Dysart, it's Dr. Copper. He was in the film called Warning Sign around this time, which is a good one. Charlie Hallahan worked with Caruso again on Executive Decision. Pierre Maloney's Bennings. I don't know what else he's done. Richard Masur. He played the dad in License to Drive, Corey Haim's dad. He was also in Stephen King's It, the miniseries. Donald Moffatt, I think he was the president, Clear and Present Danger with Harrison Ford. Joel Polis as Fuchs. Tom Waits as Windows. He was in The Warriors, the Walter Hill film. Larry Franco, I think, was a brother-in-law of Kurt Russell or something like that. I believe I could be wrong. Excellent work by Rob Bottin. I don't know what the hell happened to Rob Bottin, because at a point he disappeared. And no one's just heard from him since. I don't know what the fuck happened to Rob Bottin, but like I say, he just disappeared. Who Goes There by John W. Campbell. Again, this is a movie more on the story than the 50s movie. That's why some people would go, can you really call it a remake? Well, I mean, yes and no. And this is around the time in the 80s where after this you had The Fly in 86, The Blob in 88. All fantastic. I love all three of those films. The Thing, The Blob, The Fly are all wonderful. But yeah, this movie is fantastic. It holds up to this day. It's an excellent film. And like I said, the Blu-ray on Stream Factory, there's a bit more blue in the outside shots. So if that's, I would say look at screenshots on the internet. The Arrow video, when I try to find that now, it's way too expensive. So I don't know. But I would like to find a copy of that one day. I think it's like an overseas one, but I have a region-free Blu-ray player. Again, the commentary is altered. I don't know if the original Blu-ray from Universal is the same. But again, I don't know why they altered the commentary a bit for this. I thought that was very stupid. Again, I don't know if it's on the original Blu-ray or if it's on the... You have to get the DVD. Maybe you have to have the DVD to have the full uncut commentary. Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah, for those who do know, feel free to let me know in the comments. For those who do watch this. But yeah, in the score, yeah, this is fantastic theme. I mean, this is a pitch-perfect theme for a horror film. And, I mean, even though Ennio Morricone did this, you still has that John Carpenter flavor to it. So it's my favorite piece of score from a John Carpenter film, is this. And, yeah, this film, I don't know how many times I did say it's a classic. It holds up, and then some. So, and that's why special thanks to Stan Winston, because he helped on that dog effect scene. Even the way the titles, a lot of people have taken this font of the titles and used them in their movies, and that's what you call like John Carpenter type title font. I don't know what the exact title font is called, but this type of font is fairly associated with John Carpenter films like this. And yeah, this is a classic. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. Fuck the prequel, the pre-made, the pre-cum, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.